Good afternoon. I am Dr. Ollie Jones. I am the co-president of the Ohio Grandparent Kinship Care Coalition. Welcome to our monthly Zoom. We have some awesome speakers this afternoon who's going to share some great information with you. But before we introduce them, I want to ask the caregivers if you would put your email in the chat so you can be eligible to be selected for a $50 gift card. So put your email in the chat, and we'll do that at the end of the presentation. Also put on your calendars, next month's Zoom meeting is April the 19th, and our presentation will be about Ohio Rise, Resilience Through Integrated Systems and Excellence. It's a program that specializes on Medicaid managed care program for youth with complex behavioral and health and multi-system issues. So if you have a child in your home that has some behavioral and mental health issues, you definitely want to be at this meeting next month. Also, the Ohio Grandparent Kinship Coalition, we are contacting caregivers over the next few weeks, requesting your participation in a follow-up project in regards to oral health care survey that was done. We want you to consider providing your story about oral health care experiences of the children that's in your care. Oral care means the dental services that your child have received or have not been able to receive. We want you to get involved in that particular initiative. A stipend will be provided to those who are chosen to be involved in the process. So please consider participating in that. We definitely need the information. And I want you to stay online after the presentation for the drawing. We have two excellent speakers today. We're excited to have them. They're going to be sharing some great information with you, and I do look forward to it, as well as I am also a kinship care provider. And let me just stop to say, all of the officers attached to the coalition are kinship care providers or have been providers. So we are speaking what we have lived. We have been around since the early 1990s, so we're not new to the process. We're not new to your issues. So we are here for you as your voice. So if you ever have any challenges or issues, please feel free to reach out to us so that we can assist you in that process. Again, we have two speakers, Nicole Sillaman. She is the executive director of the Ohio Children's Trust Fund. She has worked in the field of child abuse and neglect prevention for nearly a decade, where she has led numerous statewide projects and initiatives designed to meet the needs of families prior to coming to the attention of children's services. Prior to the trust fund, she worked at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center for 7 years in program coordination for physician medical education programs. She completed her Bachelor's of Science in Healthcare Management, as well as her Master's in Business Administration at the Ohio State University. She is passionate about the trust fund mission because she gets to come to work every day at the agency whose core mission is to strengthen families and prevent child abuse and neglect. And that is so important. I also worked in the field for over 30 years, so I understand the passion and the commitment that it takes to provide those kind of services. Our second speaker is Renee Whitfield. She is a program manager who joined the Ohio Children's Trust Fund in 2018, right before COVID. Ms. Whitfield's previous experience with nonprofit focused on organizations who allow her to develop and improve internal workflow communication. She holds a bachelor's degree in organizational communication from Franklin University and an associate in technical communications from Columbus State University Community College. She also is passionate about the trust fund mission because she has spent the majority of her time working to ensure the most vulnerable in the community have their basic needs met. That is important. She believes that children need a stable and loving atmosphere to grow and develop. having resources to them to support parents is vital in those areas. So we want to thank our two speakers for agreeing to come. We look forward to the information. I'll turn it over to Ms. Sillaman.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Jones, for that introduction. And I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right. So yes, as you all were introduced, I'm Nicole Sillaman with the Ohio Children's Trust Fund. And then also on your screen is Renee Whitfield. And really today, we're just going to spend just a little bit of time talking about the Ohio Children's Trust Fund. We have been around since 1984, but a lot of times when we're speaking with community partners, people just don't know who we are and what we do. And so I want to provide a little bit of information pertaining to that, as well as we're going to walk through specifically kind of how we define the work that we do related to prevention, how this is connected to bigger bodies of research related to strengthening families, how this all at the end of the day ties into social determinants of health. And then at the Trust Fund, we fund a lot of services throughout the state of Ohio. And so we just want to highlight a couple of those projects and initiatives and call out some specific resources that may be beneficial to you or to the kiddos in your care, and then leave a little bit of time for any questions, comments, discussions at the end. And so the mission of the Trust Fund is to prevent child abuse and neglect through investing in strong communities, healthy families, and safe children. We are the state's lead agency for the community-based child abuse prevention grant, and we also serve as the state chapter for Prevent Child Abuse America. Prevent Child Abuse America is a national nonprofit organization, and they have state chapters in I think about 38 to 40 different states, and we serve as that entity for Ohio. And so where we sit within the context of all the various state systems and organizations is we are housed within the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. And then specifically, we sit within the Office of Families and Children, so Ohio State Child Welfare Agency, but we are the primary and secondary prevention arm. So we also duly report to a board. We're quasi-governmental, and then we provide a majority of our services through our 8 regional prevention councils. So it kind of just, this org chart kind of visually shows how this all is kind of connected and working in parallel with the 85 different public children's services agencies who are there to then, respond to the needs of families once child abuse and neglect has occurred. And then I like this visual just to help kind of show what we're talking about when we're referring to primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention and the different levels of prevention. And this isn't true just for the work that we do. You hear this in other state agencies and in other fields as well. Prevention has a wide definition, and so it's just helpful when we're referring to primary and secondary prevention versus tertiary prevention, what exactly it means. So this visual is just nice to see. And essentially what we're thinking through is we want to make sure that all kids and all families are able to cross the river and get over to the other side and be safe and healthy. And so when we're thinking about primary prevention and keeping kiddos out of the river, that means that we're providing a universal approach, a way to try to get as many people across the river as possible, stopping abuse before it occurs. And so in this picture, that is the bridge. So this big system that's in place that lets a lot of people over to the other side. And when we're thinking about secondary prevention, that's when we're focusing on more of a targeted response for at-risk populations. And so risk factors, could be things such as parental stress, postpartum depression, maternal depression, substance misuse, just different risk factors that we know families are exposed to. And so through a secondary prevention approach, you're focusing on helping families who may have heightened risk. And so again, the goal is to get them back onto the bridge, help them get to the other side. So we're throwing them a life preserver. So it's a more targeted response. We're still addressing their needs and pulling them, back out of the water, but it's more individualized. And then as we think through tertiary prevention, that is now when our families are much farther downstream, much more involved with our systems and specifically with our children's services systems. But it's still, we need to get the kids and the families out of the water and, over to the other side. And so we use the boat in this picture. And so stopping abuse, preventing the reoccurrence of maltreatment, and really helping our families get to the other side. And that's where the tertiary prevention definition comes into play. So I like this to really kind of break down what those different levels of prevention entail. At the trust fund, we are statutorily required to provide exclusively primary and secondary prevention. And so those will be the services that you'll hear us talk about a little bit later. Uh-oh. All right. And so we base a lot of the work that we focus on the Strengthening Families Protective Factors framework. And so this is a framework that was developed by the Center for the Study of Social Policy. It's a research-informed approach to increase family strengths, enhance child development, and reduce the likelihood of child abuse and neglect. And the Strengthening Families framework is really built upon the idea of 5 key protective factors. And some of you may have heard of these protective factors before, or maybe this is the first time that you've been introduced to them. So I'm gonna review them and try to explain how they're impacting families. So parental resilience, that's managing stress and functioning well when faced with challenges, adversity, and trauma. And essentially, we describe this as a parent's ability to bounce back when they've experienced a crisis, a hardship. It's your ability to kind of overcome challenges and keep going. That's parental resilience. Social connections, those are positive relationships that provide emotional, informational, instrumental, and spiritual support. And so social connections is, do you have somebody that you can contact if you need help? If you are stressed out about, something that's going on, can you pick up the phone? Do you have that social support who is able to kind of talk you through challenges, bring you joy, things like that. Knowledge of parenting and child development. That's understanding child development and parenting strategies, and as well as caregiving strategies that support physical, cognitive, language, social, and emotional development. I like to describe this as really understanding the ages and stages of the kiddos in your care and their development, recognizing, if there are any sort of developmental challenges. It helps you know what's appropriate so that as a caregiver, you have realistic expectations in how to manage, different behavioral challenges, different ages. And so it's that knowledge of parenting that is really beneficial in just kind of knowing how to respond to the behaviors that the children are displaying. Concrete support in times of need. We are seeing more and more support going into being able to provide concrete supports. And so these are services and supports that address a family's needs and help minimize stress caused by challenges. And a lot of times this is, do you have access to resources such as a food pantry? If you need, help with a rent payment, utility payment, purchasing clothes for your kiddos when it's back to school. Having access to concrete supports is vital for families. And so really making sure that families are connected to resources and they know how to connect to resources is this fourth protective factor. And then social and emotional competence of children. So those are the family and child interactions that help children develop the ability to communicate clearly, recognize and regulate their emotions, and establish and maintain relationships. And so we see a lot of the development of social and emotional competence, trying to work with early child care providers, working with teachers and school-based programs, really building up that competence in kids. We know social emotional competence is such a critical skill to have to really help our children become, thriving adults. And I like some of these key phrases that the Strengthening Families Network uses. And so, what we know, families gain what they need to be successful when key protective factors are robust in their lives and their communities. And that communities piece is so important because it really speaks to that whole concept that raising kids is not just left up to parents and the caregivers and those direct adults that are responsible for the kids. It really is focused on it's everybody. It takes a village to raise a child. And so really making sure that protective factors are robust in communities is a key to some of the messaging that we hope to bring to you all today. And so in the context of, the work that we support at the Ohio Children's Trust Fund, this is just kind of another visualization that kind of brings it all together. And so when we're thinking about what does child maltreatment prevention look like, think of those protective factors that I just talked through as the umbrella. And your family maybe is, in a storm and there's all these, potential risk factors around you. But you see that it's those protective factors that really protect families from the risk factors. So as we see an increase in protective factors, you see a decrease in risk factors, and that is what's leading to stronger families. And there is a ton of research on the Strengthening Families framework through the Center for the Study of Social Policy. And so if anybody is interested in learning more, we're happy to share some of those resources with you as well. And so what this means, risk factors are not predictive factors because of protective factors. And I just think this is so vital, knowing that you can have a ton of risk factors going on in your life, but really building up those protective factors within families can really mitigate a lot of hardship down the road. And so bringing this all together and making the connections to the social determinants of health. I think there's been a lot of discussion in the field over the past several years about, how do we address social determinants of health and kind of connecting the dots. And I just like to kind of show these two visualizations together because, when we're talking about building up a family's access to concrete supports in times of need, when you look at the social determinants of health framework, you can see that this is supporting economic stability as we're talking through social connections and parental resilience. You can tie that to social and community context. And so there's a lot of ways to kind of weave these two frameworks and concepts together to show that by improving these protective factors within families, we're also improving the social determinants of health for our families and our communities as well. All right, and so that information is really the foundational information that we use when we talk about the services that we fund throughout the state, as well as they serve as the guiding principles for the work that we do. We are a grant-making entity, and so we provide a ton of funding and resources to different community-based nonprofits and agencies across the state. And our grant partners are all supporting programs that are designed to improve protective factors. And so that is a key component of our work, is making sure that the programs that we fund at the trust fund are supporting increases in protective factors. I'm going to talk through a couple of different programs and services that I just want to bring to your attention today and let you know that these are resources. Either some of them are available statewide, some of them may have tie-ins to specific counties, but I just want to highlight some of these initiatives just so that you know they are out there and you know how to connect to them or share them through your networks and help make connections to other families who may need them. And so the first program that I'm going to talk through today is the Triple P Positive Parenting Program, the online program. And so in the state of Ohio, we have been working over the past year on ensuring that this evidence-based program is widely available throughout the state. And our vision is that parents and caregivers across the state know they have easy access to support that is relevant, responsive, and helpful. And in this context, when we're talking about parents and caregivers, it also includes early childcare providers, early education. And so there's been a lot of investment making sure that it's not just, parents and caregivers in the context of being responsible in the ones raising kids, but really that we're focusing on at providers and those who are interacting with kids in like early child care settings, that they also have access to this program, so that through both populations, we're applying the same approaches to how we're modeling behavior and supporting our youngest kids. And so how are we getting there? For the Triple P online program, we have invested funds to bring this online course to 20,000 families. I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about what I mean when I say the online course and how you can access the codes in just a little bit. But so we have 20,000 access codes that we have right now. We also are really big on supporting the workforce. And so through the Ohio Children's Trust Fund, as well as through the Office of Families and Children, we have made it a priority to train as many professionals as we can in the Triple P program, so that all over the state, if a family may need some additional one-on-one support, may want to be connected to an actual in-person service provider, that we are able to connect families in all 88 Ohio counties to a person who's trained in this model who can help us support a family. And then, as I mentioned, we also are making it a priority in the state to train those early child care educators. And so we're offering that through Triple P's Positive Early Childhood Education Program. And that, again, it's an online program, but this is a program aimed at training professionals in the Triple P model, and then supporting them through ongoing coaching and support in that manner. And then essentially evaluation is huge. Really, how do we demonstrate that we're getting a good return on investment, and that this is working in strengthening families and promoting those positive behaviors? So we have a robust evaluation going on simultaneously. And so what is Triple P Online? So the Triple P Positive Parenting Program, and specifically the online program, it is an 8-module online e-learning course. And for those of you who have a smartphone, if you scan that QR code, it'll take you straight to the website. We also will provide the website link after the fact as well. And so what we want to make sure is that no matter where you are across the state, any parent or caregiver has access to this online program. And so, as I mentioned, it's 8 sessions. It ranges from basic concepts related to positive parenting, how to handle timeouts and bedtime routines and things of that nature. But then the farther you progress in the online course, you start to go to different levels that talk about managing aggressive behavior in your kiddos, managing any sort of other issues that we know are common parenting practices. And they give you really actionable tips and resources and tools to really help manage those behaviors as a caregiver. Another thing that is great about the program is that it's broken down into younger kids as well as that teenage age. And so depending on, what kind of situation you're experiencing, it'll tailor you to the appropriate online course. They are getting ready to introduce a babies course in the near future. So hopefully in a couple of months, we'll have the online baby program as well that we can fold into this free offering throughout the state. The course is currently available in both English and Spanish. And what you're going to see if you enroll and register to participate in the program, it's video clips of families in action. So you literally watch a video of, a kid having a temper tantrum at dinner time, how a parent is managing like the do's and don'ts of how to manage that situation. There's interactive exercises, individual goal setting, there's prompts for self-evaluation. And the key concepts around Triple P is really helping the parent and the caregiver learn how to self-regulate themselves, which is really vital, and knowing where your resources are as a caregiver so that then you can model those behaviors and help the kids in your care self-regulate as well, kind of learn appropriate boundaries. And so it's really built on the self-regulation concept. There are worksheets and resources and just a ton of information and tools that as you register for the program, parents and caregivers have access for 12 months. And so if you don't complete everything in the beginning, if you want to go back, all of this information is available for a 12-month period. And then when we're thinking about kind of how this all connects to a provider, if a family is interested in additional supports, maybe outside of the online program, you want to have face-to-face contact with a service provider. We've been training many providers across the state in how to provide various offerings of Triple P. There are both in-home versions of the program, group versions of the program. So you could be in a group with, 5 to 10 other caregivers. There are specific in-person sessions around supporting kids who may have developmental delays and disabilities, kids on the autism spectrum. And so there's a wide range of those in-person supports or one-on-one supports with providers. If you're looking for some additional help or resources, that we are basically kind of training up Ohio's workforce in this model so that they are able to provide that more intensive one-on-one resource for families. And we know this works. Triple P has been around for almost 40 years, and there's a ton of research that shows that, again, it's increasing protective factors and decreasing risk factors. It supports the family level, those early child care settings, as well as the community level. And so it aligns with everything that we're trying to accomplish at the Trust Fund, and that the state of Ohio is working towards right now to really, really build up and make sure that all of Ohio's children and families have access to the services and supports that they need. And a big thing around the Triple P program that we've been investing resources in is reducing stigma and really kind of normalizing that parenting is hard, being a caregiver is hard. It's hard to kind of manage some of the challenges that families are experiencing these days, that kids are experiencing these days. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need some additional support. And so there is a robust marketing campaign that is also folded into kind of the promotion of this Triple P online program statewide. We have also made it so that the website and accessing the online course, it's available 24/7. Like I said, it's free. We want to make sure if the online course doesn't work for you, that we can connect you to a provider. And then at the trust fund, and then it's not just the trust fund, other agencies and groups as well. We're using other grant funding to support those in-person group sessions so that if you want to seek, an in-person session, or maybe it's a group session, that you're able to access those programs for free as well. And this is just a little kind of screen grab of what that awareness campaign looks like for the Triple P program. I have heard if you see a Triple P ad and then you click on it or you like it, then you're going to be bombarded with all of the Triple P ads. But so this marketing campaign is being widely disseminated right now. We're really excited to see the uptick that we've had in families all throughout the state. We have at least at the minimum 4 parents or caregivers in every Ohio county who are currently registered and participating at some point with the Triple P online program. And I like the screen grab on the right, and it might be hard to see, but it actually is kind of showing you from a perspective kind of what that the individual was checking when they were kind of registering for the program. It says my main concerns, and then it allows the caregiver the opportunity to click things like disobedience, not listening, tantrums, fighting, aggression. And so that's what I mean. You can click on those links and it'll help guide you to additional resources that you might be experiencing as a caregiver. And this is just a nice little heat map that I like to show, thinking through kind of where we're seeing families engaging in the Triple P online program right now. Like I said, it is being utilized in every Ohio county, but then you really can see across the state, it's not surprising that our urban areas are seeing the largest numbers, but then we have some pockets of more of our rural or North Appalachian counties who are also heavily engaged in the Triple P online program. So it's just really fun for me to kind of see where we're seeing uptick across the state in registration for this program. And overall, we're at 7,500 families and caregivers who have begun the Triple P online program. And then something else, just in case any of you after today's meeting would like to kind of enroll into the program, something that we just rolled out in January are these complimentary coaching and consultation sessions. And so what we're doing with that is we have partnered with Nationwide Children's Hospital, specifically with their early childhood mental health consultant team. And as families are engaging in the Triple P online program, we can kind of see maybe they might just need some additional help and support. And so trained providers at Nationwide Children's Hospital will send kind of an introductory email, just seeing, how is the completion of the program going? Would you like to meet one-on-one with a trained coach? Is there any additional help or supports that your family may need? And so this has been really great. They've completed 11 coaching sessions right now with 10 unique parents. And so, obviously 10 parents out of 7,500 is a small percentage, but for those 10 parents, that was really critical support that they received. And parents and caregivers have been communicating with the Nationwide Children's Hospital providers about needing some additional support related to autism, related to foster care and resources pertaining to that, connections to crisis services. And so it's been really essential, and just to have somebody to listen to them as well if they're having some challenges. And so, like I said, it's been essential for the families who have engaged in this, and then just to have kind of a name, a contact. It's not just this online program that lives, in the cloud or wherever it may be, but that there is a real life person that families can be connected to as they're engaging in this program. So that was our Triple P Online introduction. And then pivoting, another resource that we support at the Ohio Children's Trust Fund are our 8 regional prevention councils. And the map, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the color coding of kind of the groupings for the various counties for our 8 regional councils. There is a ton of information on our website pertaining to our councils. And so we can, again, share all of these links to these resources after the fact. But a majority of the trust fund services and funding is managed through these 8 regional prevention councils. And these are really the boots on the ground service providers who are interacting with families at the county level, at the community level, across the state. And so this is where a lot of our programs pertaining to those evidence-based parent education and caregiver education programs are happening. Parent cafes, if some of you are familiar with those are built off of the community cafe model, where essentially we bring together different groups of parents who sit around a table and they have a question, a caregiving parenting question that they all sit and answer and kind of address, through their own experiences, how they have handled parenting challenges. And it's really designed on building up those social support networks and groups, as well as we fund some Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and some youth mentoring programs across the state. And so there's a lot of resources at the community levels that happen through our regional prevention councils. And so we are always happy to make any connections to both our regional prevention coordinators, as well as to our service providers across the state. I took a screen grab of kind of what our service provider mapping section looks like on our website. And again, screen grabs don't look as pretty as they do on our website, but you can see our different service providers, and then they're here below. And then if you click on the link, it'll take you to kind of information about the service provider, what programs they're supporting in the community. And typically it's contact information if you want to get connected. And so this is a great resource, again, to try to find helpful supports within your own communities. Another opportunity that we are supporting it's currently in 54 of our counties, is our Early Childhood Safety Initiative. This is a program that we received a temporary assistance for needy families, a TANF earmark for. So this program is limited to TANF eligible families. And so what we have done is coupled the provision of a brief parent education skill or support session with access to early childhood safety items. And so that may be items such as cribs, pack and plays, car seats, high chair strollers. We give out a lot of kind of baby proofing, safety kits, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, a whole bunch of different resources that we know families need when they're caring for an infant up to, maybe 3 years of age, 5 years of age, depending on needs. And so this is a program that we've been running for about 3.5 years now. 3 years now. We started right before the pandemic hit, and then it has been one of our most popular, I would say, programs being offered throughout Ohio. We are in the process of preparing for new service provider, some new and some existing service providers, to kick things off in the new biennium, which will start July of 2023. Again, we have a ton of this information on our website. And then depending on what part of the state you're in, we have different tabs on our website that then it connects you to the different service providers within those areas. And as well, if there's any questions related to any of these programs, you can always just contact myself and Renee or our trust fund email account. And we are also happy to make direct connections to any of the service providers as well. And then the final program that I'm going to review before I send things over to Renee is our Family Success Network. This is a pilot program that we started a couple of years ago. We are right now in the expansion portion of it. And so it's not statewide. We're trying to take this to scale, but this is an intensive program that's going to take us a little bit of time to really kind of spread throughout Ohio, but just wanted to show you kind of where we are right now with the program, but then talk about what it is so that we can really get connections to families who may be in these communities who could benefit from the Family Success Network. So it's a multi-tiered service for families, and it's all based upon family needs. And so as families kind of become engaged with the program, they're introduced to a program consultant who essentially kind of figures out what's going on and kind of like what the level of need or intensity may be appropriate for the family, and then makes a connection to a family coach. The family coaches then provide that individualized personal connection and care with the family, and they stay connected with the family from 6 to 9 months. And the services and supports, as I mentioned, it's all based on family need, family interest. This is a voluntary program, so families can receive one, some, all of the services available. It really is kind of tailored for what's most appropriate. So information and referrals, connections to other services. We do provide parent education through Triple P again. There is support related to basic life skills, budgeting, financial literacy. Family coaching is in and of itself a service. Typically, the family coaches are meeting with the families either in a home, through a home visit, or through other, kind of individualized location that the family would like. And then we provide up to one-time access to up to $500 in economic and concrete supports. And so that is the payment of, it might be a rent payment, family's car needs repaired, so paying for car repair. It might be, the family needs access to new clothes, food, things of that nature. And so there is a provision of up to $500 in economic and concrete supports. So we're really excited about this program. We've seen a lot of success in our initial pilots, and we're preparing to expand this over the next couple of years. So hopefully I can get invited to come back in a little bit, and we'll have even more exciting updates pertaining to some of these initiatives. But now I'm going to stop talking and send this over to Renee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our awareness and also about April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so we are going to be recognizing the 40th year since April was designated as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so we are going to be working with our stakeholders and partners and having some events during the month. One of our events is going to be our partner appreciation event, and we're going to hold that virtually on Thursday, April 6th. And that event is just going to highlight the work that our partners and stakeholders are doing and implementing across the state. We're also going to honor our 8 winners of our Everyday Ohio Hero Awards. And then this year, we also had 2 winners for our youth art contest. We had a winner in primary school, and then we also had a winner who was in high school. And we have images of their art later on in the presentation for you guys to see. If you do want to register to attend the kickoff or the appreciation event, the link is going to be on our website. And so we'll make sure that when we pass along these documents that the link is available to you. Other events that we are doing for honoring Child Abuse Prevention Month is the Wear Blue Day. And so blue is the color to show people your awareness and your support of child abuse prevention work. And so this year, Prevent Child Abuse America, who we are the Ohio chapter for, is holding their Wear Blue Day on March 30th. So they're doing it right before the beginning of April to kick things off. And so we always share photos on social and use the hashtags Wear Blue Day, and just to kind of build that support, community, and awareness. And then our Public Children's Association of Ohio is holding their Wear Blue Day this year on April 12th. And so we will also be joining them this year and doing a social media campaign, showing all of our smiling faces wearing blue. If any of you would like to participate and take selfies in your blue with your family or pets, please tag us in that, and we will make sure to like and share. And then also use the hashtags Ohio Wears Blue or Wear Blue Day 23. And finally, for our events in the month, we are going to be holding some free prevention webinars. And we feel like this is really important because there is still so much that people don't necessarily know about all the different layers of prevention. And so this year we are holding 3 webinars hosted by some of our partners. And we are going to be doing the first one on April 12th and how trauma impacts relationships. And this is going to be presented by one of our partners at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And then on April 20th, we are excited to have our provider from UH Rainbow Babies University Hospital in Cleveland. And they are a grantee that we grant funds to do the program Attachment Vitamins. And so this is a really great program. They've had really good success. So we just wanted to highlight the work that they're doing there. And then on the 26th of April, we're excited to have the Commission on Fatherhood join us to talk about the importance of having healthy, involved families and fathers, and how that, is an effort in prevention as well as having that whole family connection. And so registration and additional information for all of these webinars can also be found on our website, and we will make sure to share that link with you as well. And so other ways that you can be involved in Child Abuse Prevention Month are through posting on your social. We will also be sending out email campaigns that will have parenting information, program information. And then we also have a full social media toolkit that has sample posts, images, sample language that you can use if you want to use that to spread awareness through your organization's website or even through your own personal website if you like. And throughout the month, you will also see paid media advertising, our Be a Hero campaign. You'll see billboards throughout the state, and you'll also see our ads scrolling on social media. So really just highlighting the month and trying to, make everyone in our communities aware of April and the importance of preventing child abuse. And so some of the additional resources that can be found in our toolkit are things like coasters, coloring sheets, and posters. So if you're having events during the month of April, please feel free to download these images and have them at your events. We really, we have just a wealth of information there that we are hoping to be able to share with all the communities across Ohio. And then these are just some additional things. We have like the Facebook frame. So if you want to change your profile picture for the month, we have the Facebook frame available on there. We also have graphics for t-shirts if you have a group or organization that wants to get those made. And then also the really cute placemats that have the seek and find and the maze. And these are great for, if you're having events or community PTA things to keep the kids busy, perhaps while the adults are doing something. So just some really great materials that are available, all for free, all on our website. And if there's something in particular that you're looking for that you don't see on there, like an image file type or size, please feel free to reach out and we can definitely see if we have it available. And so this year, again, we are so pleased to have 8 winners for our Everyday Ohio Hero contest. We have a winner from each one of our 8 regional prevention councils. So all of these individuals were nominated by coworkers, friends, or family as someone who is in their everyday acts helping prevent child abuse and neglect. And so we will have additional information and photos of all the winners up on our website. They will be honored throughout the month with their own social media post. And you'll probably start seeing stories about them in your local media. And so if you know any of these people, just congratulate and thank them. And we are just always honored to honor our heroes that are doing, the work every day to prevent child abuse and neglect. And then these are 2 youth art contest winners. And so we have our primary school winner, Autumn, and her drawing was called Break the Chains of Child Abuse. And then we had our high school winner, and her painting was Every Story. And so we are excited to have both of these young women who won this year. Each one received a $1,000 cash prize to their school. And so their school can use that prize for art supplies, a special event. Sometimes the school gives it as a scholarship to the actual student for them to attend some kind of program or event or to just have. I know last year we had a senior in high school who had won, and the school gave that prize to her as she was a graduating senior for her to be able to use as she was going off to college. So we are always happy to honor our youth whenever they are able to enter our contests and awards. And so the next thing I just wanted to talk to you guys about is our What You Do Next awareness campaign. And so here at the Trust Fund, we are always trying to get the messaging out that, we know parenting is difficult, it can be stressful, but that we all can help prevent abuse by cultivating and maintaining those positive and safe environments for our children. And so we are doing this on a statewide level with this What You Do Next messaging. And the messaging we feel is consistent with the trends in the field of prevention on how important it is to have and establish those positive childhood experiences and how it really impacts the overall health and development and well-being of our children. And so this messaging rolled out in December of 22, and we will continue using this messaging throughout the year. The only time we put a pause on this specific campaign is during the month of April, when we're really trying to call out the April Awareness Month and the Be a Hero campaign. So you'll also see this messaging in your social media feeds, on cable television. And we really worked hard to try to find imaging that was realistic to depict sometimes just, in those moments of stress, in those moments of trying to get everyone out the door in the morning to get to school on time. How it can feel so overwhelming, but that as the parent and the caregiver, that what you do, what your reaction is really what makes a difference. And so we are very proud of this campaign, and we'll continue to run it. And if you have any questions or anything about the campaign or any of our other efforts, feel free to reach out. The Get Help and Resources link on all of these will take families or people who click on it directly to our website, where we have just a wealth of information, just different articles that talk about, like, when is it okay to keep my kid, let my children stay home alone. What do I do when I have my little and they're having separation anxiety every day when I'm dropping them off at daycare? Being able to speak to just those everyday things that parents can face. And so, we hope that this campaign is helpful in reducing the stigma around seeking help for parenting, because it really isn't something that anyone should feel ashamed or discouraged about. And so that was all the wealth of information we had to give to you guys today. I know it was a lot. And so if you had any questions, I think we have time to be able to take those.
Yes. Anybody on the meeting can ask questions or put your question in a chat. I just want to say I am just really excited and impressed about the information that was provided today, and because I see it as directly affecting caregivers and helping them with some of the issues that we hear on a regular basis that caregivers have but may not know where to go. And I'm just excited to be able to get this information out to more caregivers by getting it on our website and making them aware of some of these resources that are out there, especially the positive parenting program. Being a grandparent of 7 and having 2 grandchildren that have special needs, I'm excited about it. I'm going to really make an effort to look at the positive parenting program and get some tips and advice on how to address different issues. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Oh, I was just going to add, we will make sure that we send over the PDF of these slides, and then we'll actually kind of provide a description and the individual links to each of the subpages that we reviewed with you all today. Our website is great, but it is vast, and I don't want people to get discouraged if you're trying to hunt around on our website. So we'll make sure that we provide all of those individual links so it's clear and easy to identify exactly, what we talked about today, and then how you can get connected to that specific resource.
That's great. I mean, we definitely will get this posted on the website and call attention to it, and hopefully drive more caregivers to that in order to get this valuable information.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Any other questions before we move on? I know it's a lot of information.
It looks like one of our caregivers, Darlene Roberson, who's been involved with the OGKC for a while, has started the Triple P program. Do you want to say anything about your experience so far, Darlene?
I just want to say that I just started it, so it looks pretty interesting.
Well, good. Maybe later down the road you can offer your opinion about how effective it has been for you and your grandchild. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Dr. Jones. I also would add, Darlene, even if there's things that you feel like, we could do better, or, if you think of, oh, they covered this, but maybe it would be more helpful to have resources that covered, something else. that's always information that we would love to hear. So please, we appreciate feedback as much as possible. If our services are not meeting the needs of families and caregivers, then we're not doing our job. And so I do just want to make sure, either through this network or just reaching out individually, we're happy to hear any feedback related to any services that you access.
Awesome. Any other questions before we continue on? If not, thank you again for that awesome presentation, a wealth of information. I will definitely view your website and just look at the information and pass it on to those who may need that information. Just as a reminder, our next Zoom is April the 19th. Put it on your calendar. And that topic will be looking at managed care program for youth with complex behavioral and multi-system needs. So if you have children in your care who may have some emotional challenges, like you know someone, pass the information on to them. Again, that will be on April the 19th.
And we have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Jones.
Go ahead.
So I was just going to announce that we've selected a recipient for the gift card from our caregivers that participated in the meeting, and that's going to be Kendra Ingram. And so Kendra, I have your email address, so I'll be contacting you, getting information in order to get that gift card to you. And thank you and all the other caregivers. You're welcome. All the other caregivers who attended, and hopefully it's given you some great information to help with the what you're doing for the children in your care. And I'm sure that everybody on the Zoom meeting has gotten something from. I know I have. I really personally have gotten a lot of information that I wasn't aware of. So I'm glad that we were able to do this.
Are there any questions? I'm looking in chat. I didn't see where there was any questions listed in the chat, but if you have a question, please feel free to ask. We do have some time. So are there any questions to our presenters? If not, thank you for the participation. If you have a topic that you would like us to bring to you, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will definitely make that happen. Your voice is important, and so we want to make sure that your needs are met. Again, all of us who are a part of the coalition, we have been kinship care providers at some point, and we too have pulled our hair out at some point. And so we want to be a support system for you. So please feel free to reach out to us on an as-needed basis. I see Dr. Ron Browder is on the line. Just want to acknowledge him and see if he have anything that he would like to state before we leave. Dr. Browder.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. No, I think it was a wonderful presentation. Nicole, you and Renee, as usual, did a absolutely fabulous job. I think it really opens up for our families information where they can go, and particularly with those organizations that you all are funding, to go and try and identify what resources are there to help. Because kinship families are really trying to keep their children out of the system. And so I think that this has been a wonderful presentation, and I learned a lot. I'm a former secretary of the Children's Trust Fund Board, and so you all are doing even more things than we did many, many years ago. So I just thank you for what you're doing, and we hope to have you back again at some point. Thank you, Dr. Jones.
Thank you. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you for your participation. Thank again to our speakers, and we'll see you next month on the 16th of February. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much.